Welcome back to another lesson, everyone. Today we are going to talk about division of fractions. But first things first, we need to talk about something called reciprocals. So, what do I mean by reciprocals? Let's say I give you the fraction 2/3. To find the fraction's reciprocal, all you're going to do is you're going to switch places with the numerator and denominator. If the reciprocal will be 3/2. So that's all you're doing, switching places with the numerator and denominator. Okay, so what about 4/5? What's the reciprocal of 4/5? The reciprocal of that's going to be 5/4. That would be the reciprocal. Now, what if I gave you something like 1/2? What's the reciprocal of that? That's just going to be 2. You could say 2/1, but it would just be 2. So the whole number 2 would be the reciprocal. Again, let's say 1/3. Reciprocal of 1/3, that's just going to be 3. So just switch the numerator and denominator, you have the reciprocal of the fraction. Also, let's see here, a quick formula that's going to make your life a lot easier when doing fractions. If you have two fractions, any arbitrary numbers, I'm going to say m and n, and you multiply by the reciprocal, you have a fraction, you multiply by the reciprocal, the result will always be 1. So let's see, I have 1/5 times 5, the reciprocal of 1/5 is 5, I'll get 1. If I have 2/3 and I multiply by that reciprocal, which would be 3/2, well, 3's will cancel out, 2's will cancel out, I'll just get 1. So, real easy stuff there. So now we can talk about division of fractions. I got some problems here. So we got, say you have something like 3/5 divided by 3/4. Okay, when you divide a fraction, it's the exact same as multiplying by the reciprocal. So what you got to do is 3/5 will stay the same. But since we're dividing by 3/4, it's the same as multiplying by the reciprocal. You'll turn that into 3/5 times 4/3. That would become 3/5 times 4/3. Now we can deal with this problem. It turns into a multiplication of fractions. We see the 3's cancel. So what you're left with is 4/5. And that would be your final answer. It would be 4/5. Because you can't factor anything else out. Okay, what's the next problem? Alright, 3/5 divided by 9/4. So I have 3/5 divided by 9/4, so we could turn this into a multiplication problem by inverting the 9/4. We invert and multiply. That'll turn into 3/5 times 4/9. Alright, so we've inverted and multiplied the 9/4, turn that into 4/9. So let's see here. We got some factors we can cancel out between the 3 and 9, so this will turn into 1 times 3 over 5 times 4 over 3 times 3. Okay, then we see we have a common 3 we can cancel, which that's going to leave you with 1/5 times 4/3. So now it's a simple multiplication problem. 1/5 times 4/3, you multiply the numerator. 1 times 4 is 4. 5 times 3 is 15. You are left with 4/15 for your answer. And that's all there is to it. All right, what's the next problem? 13. All right. We got 4/3 divided by 1/3. 4/3 divided by 1/3. So again, this is the same as taking 4/3 and multiplying it by the reciprocal. You have 4/3 divided by 1/3. That 1/3 gets inverted and multiplied. It'll be 3/1, or just 3. Well, the 3's are going to cancel out. You're just left with 4. And that would be your final answer, would be 4. Got 4 more problems here. Number 15. We have 1/3 divided by 1/6. Okay, so 1/3 divided by 1/6. Again, we're going to invert and multiply. The 1/3 stays the same. However, we are multiplying by the reciprocal of 1/6, which is 6. Now we can do some factoring. You're going to have 1/3 times 1, because 6 has factors of 3, times we have 3 times 2 are factors of 6 all over 1. We see we can cancel out a common 3, which is going to give you 1/1 times 2/1, which would just give you 2. So your answer to that problem would be 2. Alright, that problem is solved. 3 more problems. Okay, 12/7 divided by 4. So we got 12/7 divided by 4. Again, we're going to invert and multiply that 4, so that's 12/7 will stay the same, but divided by 4 turns into times 1/4. So we are reduced down to a multiplication of fractions problem. Can't factor out the 12 and 7 or the 1 and 7. However, we can factor with 12 and 4, because 12 has factors of 4. So 12, the factors of 4 are, 4 and 3. So 4 times 3 over 7 times 1 all over 4 times 1. So 12, you got 4 and 3. 4 is 4 and 1. We got a common 4 we can cancel out. This will leave you with 3/7 times 1/1, which multiplying by 1's easy. That would just give you 3/7. And that would be your final answer, would be 3/7. Two more problems. Alright. We got 8/15 divided by 4/5. This is a fun one. It's going to be a fun one. So we got 8/15 divided by 4/5. So again, we leave the 8/15 alone. But we're going to invert and multiply the 4/5. That'll turn into times 5/4. Alright, so what we have here, we can actually factor the 8 and 4 and 15 and 5. We could totally do that. Let's start with the 4 and 8. So 8 has factors that involve 4, 4 and 2. So you'll have 4 times 2 over 15 times 5 all over 4 times 1. Well, we know the 4's will cancel out, so you are left with 2/15 times 5 over 1. However, we still haven't factored out everything we can. We know the 5 and 15 are going to factor out. So we'll have 2 over 5 goes into 15 how many times? 3 times. So 5 times 3. 5 and 3 are factors of 15. Times 5. Oh, 5 times 1 over 1. Now we can cancel out common 5s, which is just going to give you 2/3 times 1 over 1, which multiplying by 1 is easy. That's just going to give you 2/3. And then 2/3 will be your final answer. One more problem. And it's this one here. We have 5/12 divided by 25/36. Okay, 5/12 divided by 25/36. So, again, leave your 5/12 alone. That'll stay where it is. You're going to invert and multiply with the reciprocal of 25/36. The reciprocal of 25/36, since you're dividing, it becomes multiplying by the reciprocal, will be 36/25. Alright, so now we have stuff we can reduce down. Again, we'll take it one step at a time. Let's do the 5 and 25 first. We can factor out because 5 times 5 equals 25. So you'll have 5 times 1 over 12 times 36 over factors of 5 for 25 are, well, 5 and 5. You got 5 times 5. So then we see we can cancel out a common 5. And so what you're going to be left with here, you'll have 1/12 times 36 over 5. So the 1 and 5 are dealt with. We can't factor out any more of those, but we can factor 36 and 12. So let's see. 12 goes into 36 3 times. So when we factor out the 12, you'll have 1 times 12 as the factor. Times, then 12 times 3 is 36, all over 5. So the 12s cancel out, so what you're left with is 1 over 1 times 3/5. Well, 1 over 1 is 1, so your final answer is 3/5. So, yeah, that's what you get for your final answer, 3/5. Biggest takeaway for division of fractions, invert and multiply, and then factor out anything you can factor out, and then you get your final answer. And really, that's all there is to it. So next lesson, we're going to do some variables with these fractions. We'll do variables with them. Hope everyone has a good day. Whoops, bumped the camera. Everyone have a good day. Take care.